Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, and her husband, Jesús María Tarriba, are both physicists with a love story that's anything but ordinary. They met in university, lost touch, and reconnected decades later. If that's not fate, what is? It all started at the National Autonomous University of Mexico in the 1980s, where both physics students crossed paths for the first time. Tarriba, who still remembers Sheinbaum as one of the leaders of the student movement, saw her, and, after a couple of encounters, they became a couple. But life took them down different paths after about a year and a half together. They broke up and lost contact for over 30 years.
Te quiero con el alma, te juro que te adoro, y en nombre de este amor
y por tu bien te digo adiós.
While he was building a career in finance, Sheinbaum was making her mark in politics. In 1986, she met Carlos Imaz Gispert, a politician, and they got married the next year. They had a daughter, Mariana, and Sheinbaum also became a stepmom to Carlos's son, Rodrigo.
But my main occupation was to be a mother and to be in the university.
After almost 30 years together, Claudia and Carlos divorced in 2016. During that time, Sheinbaum climbed the political ladder, eventually becoming the head of government of Mexico City.
I have been in the movement.
So, Sheinbaum and Tarriba both lived their lives, but fate had other plans for them. So, what brought these two back together? A simple click on Facebook. Yes, it was that easy. A friend request was the spark that reignited the flame. They started chatting, and after some messages and trips between Mexico and Spain, they decided to pick up their relationship where they left off. And, well, the rest is history.
Como año y medio de novios estuvimos.
Más o menos.
Claudia Sheinbaum married Jesús María Tarriba Unger on November 17, 2023, after being in a relationship for 7 years. They had a private ceremony, keeping things low-key. Just a year later, on October 1st, 2024, Sheinbaum was sworn in as the President of Mexico, making history as the first woman ever to take the office.
I also want to thank you, because for the first time in 200 years of the Republic, I will become the first female president of Mexico.
And what really stands out about their relationship is how well Sheinbaum and Tarriba complement each other. She's all passion for her work and the people, while he's calm, collected, and always knows how to listen when it matters most. As Claudia puts it, her husband helps her escape the stresses of politics. He's incredibly intelligent and calm, she says. When it comes to their private life, Tarriba stays out of the spotlight. In fact, what we know about him mostly comes from his wife, who often credits him as a key reason she feels balanced and happy. He loves reading, which is his passion. There's no pressure on time, no, what time will you arrive, what time will you leave? We really cherish the time we have together, she explains.
Nos vemos poco. Aunque todas las noches hacemos una llamada para vernos y platicar cómo estuvo el día.
Tarriba, on his part, speaks with admiration for Sheinbaum. She's a very intense woman, very interesting, very empathetic with people. Since college, I admired her stamina, her energy, when she was doing 1,000 things at once. And to this day, she is still a bit like that. And she is very affectionate. We understand each other very well. He also emphasizes that finding a balance between public and private life has been key to their relationship, having patience and love, as well as avoiding toxic areas and feelings of dominance, he explains. We fight and forgive each other 5 minutes later, he adds. So, while their love story may seem like something out of a movie, it's actually much more real and exciting than anyone could have imagined. It's refreshing to see more heartwarming love stories in the world of politics. Another great example is the new Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, and his partner, Jodie Hayden. Their love story is one of those unexpected turns life throws your way. They met in 2020, about a year and a half after Albanese's divorce. He had been married for 19 years to an Australian former politician, Carmel Tebbit, and they share a 24-year-old son, Nathan.
Who's grown into a fine young man who I am just so proud of. Thank you.
Anthony's love story with Jodie began when she shouted out her support for his favorite footy team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Albanese later joked that she had him at Up the Rabbitohs. She followed up with a message, they grabbed a beer, and the chemistry was instant.
Who said I love you first?
Same time.
Same time. It was definitely the same time. Yeah.
Before meeting Albanese, Jody had been single for a while, and in her own words, figured she and her friends would one day end up like the Golden Girls on the coast. But instead, she found herself traveling the world alongside the Prime Minister, attending events like the King's coronation and the White House State Dinner. What a plot twist. She's called it a fairy tale, and honestly, who can argue?
Not quite sure how I top this for date night with Jody. At any time, anywhere in the future.
The couple got engaged on Valentine's Day in 2024. Yes, he went full romantic. Albanese helped design the ring and planned the whole thing, right down to the balcony proposal at the lodge. He described it as something that took a lot of planning and thought, and it clearly paid off.
Was a very happy moment.
And if you're wondering about their wedding plans, so far the only confirmed detail is that their dog, Toto, will be the ring bearer. Adorable, right? As for the wedding song, Jody hinted that Bruce Springsteen might make the playlist. Now that's a ceremony we'd all love to see. Isn't it refreshing when politicians seem genuinely happy in their personal lives? Well, Anthony and Jody aren't the only couple giving us heartwarming moments. Canada's new PM Mark Carney and his wife of over 30 years, Diana Fox Carney, are another perfect example.
And thank you for choosing my husband's vision of a positive, unified, and above all, a strong country.
Yep, these two go way back, all the way to their university days at Oxford. And here's a fun fact. They actually bonded over ice hockey. Diana was part of the Oxford University Ice Hockey Club, and so was Mark. Who knew power couples could form on the rink? Diana was born in the UK and is every bit as impressive as her husband. She studied philosophy, politics, and economics at Oxford, then added a Master of Science in Agricultural Economics. And she didn't stop there. Diana also earned a Master of Arts in International Relations from the University of Pennsylvania. That's a serious academic lineup. Professionally, Diana is an economist who has focused much of her work on developing countries. She's held top roles at think tanks like Canada 2020 and the Institute for Public Policy Research, tackling issues like climate, energy, and inequality. While her current role hasn't been made public, she's got quite a legacy in the policy world. And she's even authored academic work on agricultural services and natural resources. So yes, brains definitely run in this family.
We're going to put in place measures that are going to build this country out of it, build this country strong.
Mark and Diana got married in 1994, and they've since raised 4 daughters together: Cleo, Tess, Amelia, and Sasha. And their eldest, Cleo, recently took center stage herself. She's now a freshman at Harvard, and she introduced her dad before he gave his victory speech in March 2025.
And who is better qualified to speak on his character than his daughter?
Cleo's speech was heartfelt and personal.
He is unflinchingly dedicated to what matters, focused and principled, funny and kind.
She wanted Canadians to really understand the man behind the politics. According to her, Mark is someone who's fully committed to the things that matter, who never backs down from hard work, and who always shows up, no matter how tough things get. Cleo also shared a sweet memory from growing up.
Every year for our birthdays, he burned us CDs, and somehow they were good. Sometimes now, when we don't know what to get him, we make him a playlist.
Oh, that's so adorable. As for Diana, she usually keeps a low profile, but she was front and center on election night. Dressed in a sleek red suit, she sat proudly in the front row next to Cleo as Mark gave his speech. Quiet strength. You love to see it. Mark Carney's long and happy marriage is something many admire, and hopefully it stays that way.